Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kris Bertagnolli. I have got somebody in the studio today. He's a local legend. We love this guy.
A local legend is way too much, Kris.
Yeah. So Ryan Harris is with us today in the studio for the Whiskey Throttle podcast. Welcome to the studio, brother.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah. So Ryan, I'm going to let him do a little introduction of himself. Sure. But Ryan and I, we go back a few years, and he's doing some really cool things, so it's an honor to have him in the studio today. But Ryan, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience here?
Absolutely. Yeah, Ryan Harris, born and raised in Eastern Idaho. Fell in love with this, obviously, from the beginning. Went off for a few years to school, but then came back as an engineer, funny enough. Went off to engineering school, University of Idaho.
Okay.
And came back, worked as a structural engineer for about 3 years.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I did not know
You did
that.
not know that. Yeah,
No.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Here's this guy that can communicate that's
Yeah,
used
the
to be an
sales-
engineer.
I mean,
right?
you're a sales guy to me. You're not. That's a different part of the brain.
So let me rephrase that, right?
Yeah.
Because I was in the engineering field, realized I wasn't very good at engineering. So I went to the sales side of engineering because I understood the dynamic of it, right? And had a really fun experience where I actually managed an $85.5 million project here for the District 91.
Wow.
I put architects, engineers. It was a big project that they were trying to do an energy retrofit of all the high schools on District 91, so Skyline and IF. They were going to build 6 new schools, and we had a really, really cool project that was built out to actually, I wish we would have done it because, we've gone through a lot of different unique conversations about District 91.
Bond money, right?
Bond money.
Yeah.
At the time, it was $85.5 million guaranteed max with a 20-year utility cost savings payback.
Oh my heck.
But there was maybe it wasn't quite understood the way we were going to do it back then, but ended up managing that for about 3 years, worked closely with the school district,
Wow.
the leadership, and then I started my entrepreneurial journey.
What'd you do then? I mean, so U of I, graduate,
Mhm.
engineering. Okay, I'm running this project. That didn't come to fruition, obviously. Then,
So
then
on the
what?
side, I had started a building a business with Melaleuca here
Okay.
in town. I was on the marketing executive side. I built a team of about 2,500 people with
Wow.
with all the organization. And Melaleuca is such a fantastic company.
Yeah, shout out
like-
to those guys.
Yeah, it transformed me as a person. I was
Awesome.
traveling all across the country, going to conferences. I had the opportunity to speak on stage at one of their conventions. It was so fun. And some of my closest friends are either people that work inside of Melaleuca and or were other marketing executives for the company. But built it, had a lot of success with it. I had some great mentorship from a buddy named Jeff Stutz, who has been my mentor basically my whole life. He's 10 years older than me, and he's fantastic. And then realized that there's so much power. At the time, it was when Facebook was really coming to fruition. Loved the concept of social selling, meaning influencing people's behavior by leveraging a digital marketing platform,
Mm-hmm.
and started a company. Started a marketing company called Strategic Social Partners.
Mm-hmm.
It was social media primarily. It was before organic and paid media.
What
had
year
changed.
is this? I mean,
So
MySpace is like the 90s, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
early 2000s.
Yeah,
When's
so-
Facebook hit?
So this was about 2012-ish,
Okay.
2012, 2013.
Okay.
And I had, one of the unique things is I had been studying the digital marketing world for about a year and a half prior to that. And again, I was teaching how to leverage digital marketing to build a Melaleuca business in that
Mhm.
regard. And I just found so much passion in helping small businesses succeed. And so those business owners inside, they're classified as subcontractors, business owners. But then I had people here locally that were reaching out to me saying, "Hey, Ryan, I see what you're doing on social media. I love it. Can you teach me how to do it for my business here locally?" So I started hosting classes at the Idaho Innovation Center.
Awesome.
And Brian worked hand in hand with me and helped me from that regard, and launched several businesses of people that were excited, wanted to learn how to use digital marketing, and taught them and trained them and educated them on how to do it. And just gave them the insights, and they ran with it. And then we built our company, found a lot of organizations that really enjoyed working with us as a digital marketing company, and found that we were limited. And we were only limited because we couldn't provide support for all the different elements of digital marketing that they wanted.
So what was that? Because, I mean, we're really talking 2012. This is interesting because you and I had this crossover where at that time I had jumped into the cell phone world.
That's right.
I was working with a company called mybullfrog.com and Mark Ernest, stud out of Boise. He had just been given the green light by Verizon to expand. But I can remember that was like right around, I think I got my wife her first smartphone. I was carrying around a BlackBerry, right, with a Pearl,
the days of
and
BlackBerry.
yeah. And those, I mean, they were state of the art at the time, but they didn't have apps. There was no Facebook. There was nothing like that yet. So when you're jumping into this digital marketing realm and you're teaching these Melaleuca, reps that you're dealing with how to do digital marketing, was that basically on a computer? Were you having to be like, had it moved into the cell phone world?
2012, 2013, cell phones were pretty.
Okay.
I mean, you had the digital experience. Apple had launched their first few versions, so it was a combination of both, the computer as well as the mobile device. And so that's where the power came in, right? Because in that industry, in that direct to consumer model, it's a hustle. Like I was flying all over the country. I was meeting with people. I was driving. I was traveling. I mean, we were doing meetings at 8 p.m. in Twin Falls and driving back at 10 to get home by midnight, 1 o'clock. I mean, it was a hustle. It was a grind. But I loved it. I mean, I loved it because we had the opportunity to share a vision of what we were trying to accomplish and help people see how they could become more in their lives. And I think that's the common thread. As I've looked back and reflected back on my life, there's one common thread that I've always appreciated. Zig Ziglar once said, you can have everything you want in this life by helping enough other people get what they want. And my whole life was centered around that. If I could help enough people, maybe at some point it would come back to me. But I never liked the last part of that, you can have everything you want, because it felt like there was like reciprocity. Like I always wanted something from that, but that was never the case. I just wanted to help and give and serve and live at the highest level that I possibly could. So when we were in that digital marketing world from a social media advertising perspective, we realized we were starting to see a significant impact. Now, keep in mind, this was really when the first few elements of Facebook advertising came to play. Didn't have a business suite. It was like you were running ads directly from the page, right? But organic was still 70-80%.
Yep.
So you were amplifying the organic to really get great exposure. And those companies that went all in early, like they're still crushing it today.
Yeah,
they won.
They won at a major level.
So again, we found that larger companies that we were working with legitimately wanted to be able to reach their customers, not only just on social media, but on Google Maps, on other ways, email communication, things of that nature. And so we realized that, and my intent was always with marketing, with social media marketing especially, that if I wasn't going to be the best that I possibly could, or if we weren't the best agency ever, I didn't want to try to be the jack of all trades, master of none. We were the best at social, in my opinion. We were the best at social at that time. And so we just realized that in order to continue to grow and scale, we had to bring organizations together, other companies that were the best at what they did, bring them into one big conglomerate to really grow the companies that we were working with, give them opportunities to leverage multiple elements of digital marketing, expand that, and then capture leads and generate leads and so on and so forth. So that's when we did a big merger acquisition with, I believe it was 5 companies at the same time, and brought on 6 other partners. So there were 7 of us, and that was a journey.
Wow. What year was that?
Oh, that was probably if I remember right, that was about 2017, 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 6 companies, 6 partners.
2 web development companies, a videography company.
Okay.
And then
you guys were the social side.
We were the social side, and then an SEO pay-per-click Google company. Yeah, so there's 5 total companies.
Wow.
So 4 plus my company was 5, and 7 partners that came with all the baggage of partnership.
Oh
and all
my
the things.
gosh, man.
It was unique. It was such a cool time though, because we were excited about how do we put everybody together? What does this look like? We can now go capture more market share because we can offer more things. And it was a huge blessing for us, right? Because I think we were all kind of hit that plateau. We're like, okay, how do any of us get any further? And what happened is we all came together. We restructured the company. We ended up having an EOS implementer, Aaron Markham, who guided us through that process of company structure, building relationships, dialing it all together, and finding out roles, responsibilities. And that became the framework of everything else that I've done beyond that, is that cool like structure of running organizations and companies, and totally transformed me again. Just like I was a hacker at best of a business owner, right? I'd read the books. It's funny. You probably have experienced this, Kris, but my team used to call it the rubbernecking syndrome.
Oh, that looks cool. That looks cool.
Right? You
yeah,
read a book
yeah.
and like, we're going to try this. And then you read another book and you're going to try this. And we're going to try this. And so and as a visionary, I always want to try to think bigger, do bigger.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yep.
EOS.
Yep.
Rocket Fuel.
Yep.
Are you an integrator or a visionary?
Oh, I'm like 1,000% visionary, right? Now, I do have some integration, which is really unique in my setting because as an engineer, I learned processes, right? I learned how to put pieces of the puzzle together.
So you get it.
I get it.
You get the importance of it. There's a lot of visionaries out there that all they do is they come around and they just crap on everything and then they take off, right?
Yeah.
So.
But from a process perspective, I really was like, okay, I understand how the pieces of the puzzle go together. Now, education for me was incredibly difficult. I'll be candid, and maybe I'm speaking down to myself, but I've become pretty intelligent in a lot of things. But at the time, I was like, engineering was the hardest thing I'd ever done in my life.
That's pretty difficult, man.
It was tough.
Yeah.
And the U of I's program was fantastic. Man, there were times when I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to pass engineering.
I don't think I would, brother. that is a hard program. So.
It was interesting, and maybe I'll give you a little more backstory. So when I first got married to my wife, Aubrey, her father-in-law at the time was a gentleman who owned a construction company here. And I wanted to actually go into architecture school. And I just said, I want to go become an architect. U of I has a great architectural program. And he said, listen, if you want to do design stuff and make it really pretty, be an architect. If you want to like put things together and actually make money, right? And I don't think that's the case today, but at the time, he said go into engineering, and I thought, okay, well, let's test it. And went through the whole program, the civil engineering program, and like I said, there were so many elements, so many classes that I took that today I still don't even understand what I learned. Some of that was because I had like foreign teachers that couldn't even speak English. I mean, I remember spending hours and hours. There was one class, Kris, I'll tell you this. This is kind of embarrassing to admit, but there was one class that I think the professor legitimately passed me because I spent so much time in his classroom or in his TA office, but not because I passed the class, because he's like, I don't want this guy back, so I'm going to pass
You're
him
just
anyway.
going to move on. You're moving on, right?
Realized that I could work really hard, but maybe I didn't understand the concept. So no, but I mean, it was a really, really cool journey. And then when we put all those companies together, one of the things that I really believed in the whole time that I was building these companies and working in tandem with my partners was that the company that provides the most value in the marketplace potentially wins, right? Gary Vee talks about that all the time, and he has for 20 years.
Yeah.
If you can get out and push value into the marketplace, if you can serve people at levels that they never were able to serve themselves. And so in 2018, I had this random concept to start this business. Well, I shouldn't say that. It was actually more than random. It was pretty specific.
Yeah.
Right.
There's
I remember,
no coincidences, Ryan.
And I'll tell you, it was a special moment in my life. I remember waking up at 3:00 in the morning in June and just feeling like this overwhelming feeling like we need to build a business community here. I need to build a business community here. And you can imagine, like, I had a lot of great relationships because of the businesses that I was running, but building a business community, building a thriving environment where businesses can come and thrive and succeed,
it's challenging.
No idea. I mean, I knew the concept, right? I'd been to conferences, I'd built relationships, and I was like, all right, here we go. So between June and November, well, I would say probably August and November, I'm like, I'm going to throw this concept RizeCon out there and just see if it sticks. It was a mess. On the inside. On the outside, it was fantastic.
And you're still at that marketing company at this time.
Still at the marketing company.
So rubbernecking over here to the business
Not
community.
as much rubbernecking now.
Okay, all right.
Well, maybe with RizeCon. I have no idea, right?
So, but you throw it out there and it's a mess.
Well, it was a mess internally, but externally it turned out great.
People
now,
liked
keep in
it.
mind my paradigm. It's fascinating to see how the experiences of life bring different moments that show you a picture of what it should be like. Because Melaleuca puts on the probably world's best events.
I was going to say, if you're going to have a mentor like Jeff, you said Jeff's a mentor of yours.
Yep.
Well, if you're going to have a business mentor, those guys are dialed.
Unreal.
They know how to throw an event. They know how to build programs. They know how to network. They know, I mean, that it not only a leader in Idaho, leader in the nation.
100%. Like their events are life-changing. And so as I experienced that for 5-10 years, I mean, it was 2010 was when I went to my very first conference with Melaleuca. I was 28 years old. 20 something. I'm getting up. We're getting up there, aren't we? But But I saw the motivation, the impact that it created, and I loved it. It was like intoxicating. And I went back over and over and over and over again. And I just saw the way they crafted the story and the way they shared the dynamic and the way they celebrated people and the way they brought people to light and the stories that were told. And I mean, it was life-changing for me. Like I was this, farm kid, not even a farm kid, but a kid from rural Idaho that had no experience to a bigger corporate world or events of this style. I mean, you're talking about a billion-dollar company that's throwing these fantastic events. And it's funny because most people in this community don't know how good they are, don't know the power of Melaleuca and the impact that it's making worldwide. It's an amazing company.
Well, and not only that, how many spinoffs have come from people that have been within that company?
Yeah.
Even locally. There's leadership that is at a local level here, and I run into them all the time through your events and through other, where, I mean, a lot of people get their start at Melaleuca.
Yeah.
And so kudos to you, though, for, observing and being a part of it and then actually recognizing, oh, this is something that I want to take and allow other people to experience.
Yeah.
So
well,
talk
for
about
us,
that.
For us, it was in the beginning, it was just about, this business community. For me, it was like, I'm going to build an event, bring people to it. And then from a marketing perspective, we can capture new clients as a result of that. I didn't realize that it had needed to be more than that, or it could be more than that. So we did it in year one. I think we had 275 attendees at the event. We did it down at the Shoshone-Bannok Casino Hotel, and it was awesome.
And this is RizeCon.
This is RizeCon now.
Okay.
Yep, RizeCon. And the feeling that I got there was we need to continue that. So that's when the RizeX Mastermind event started, was in 2018.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, we need to like continue this relationship. It's more of a transformational change. It's taking you from a certain place to a certain place versus just an event. And that's how we didn't really craft it that way in the beginning. We're crafting it this year with RizeCon 2026, and it's going to be so cool. We're taking people through a story, and we're taking them on a journey of, where are you right now, and how can you transform your life with making a decision, and what rooms are you a part of, and how does that work? But we'll talk more about that. But before, it was just like, oh, here's a speaker, here's a speaker, here's a speaker. But the speakers were so good.
Who were some of the speakers? Because first, let me say this. I did not know that RizeCon came before RizeX.
Yeah.
That to me is, and I'm watching, like, to me, there's patterns in everything. Yeah. And I'm kind of watching you're growing through Melaleuca. You're getting exposed then through the marketing company to local businesses.
Yep.
And you're starting to see some of the weaknesses maybe or holes that
100%.
Exist within the business community, within
100%.
These local businesses. And, I know you well enough to know that you're like, man, people can help other people.
Yes.
I need to put them together, put them in the same room, which is what I feel when I go to RizeX, right? When those events are amazing. And
thank you.
So now you've got RizeCon. That's the first thing that you put together. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So first RizeCon, who were the speakers? Let's talk about that.
So we had at the time, the CEO of ICCU. We had McKay Christensen was there. We had Katie Lillianquist. Katie was she was the only speaker that came back both years because of popular demand.
Wow.
She was a negotiation expert, and she talked about the art of negotiation. It was so impactful. As a matter of fact, I tried to have her back this year. But she's like, no, I'm going to be off on a family vacation. I'm like, oh, dang it. Because, she was legitimately, it was awesome.
Obviously, you didn't take anything from what she taught. You should have negotiated that a little better.
Yeah,
right?
There's
Family,
I learned the hard way.
I
am like I learned the hard way in most things, Kris.
I'm teasing.
It's out of sheer grit and hustle is how I learned. Right?
So,
but we had Chris Taylor from Fisher's Technology. We had Michael Hughes at the time from Elevation Labs. Our speaking lineup was so good. Andy Crossman from Journeys. I don't know if you know Andy. He's one of my favorite speakers.
Yeah,
love that man.
I've been at I've seen him speak. So let's talk this year.
Yeah,
we've got RizeCon coming just around the corner. What are the dates?
April 22nd, 23rd. We're 10 days away.
Yeah, there.
10 days away from today. Whenever we're broadcasting this, I'm not sure, but we're 10 days away from the event, and the speaking lineup is set. Kris, I couldn't have pictured a better speaking lineup for rejuvenating. No, there was a gap there, and I want to talk about that just quickly. So 18-19, we did it. 20 COVID hits.
Yep.
We took it virtual, had a great experience. But then through all of that, there was some business separation from my marketing company. And I went through some interesting times personally and professionally. And so I went on this journey of redefining who I am.
So when was that? 20 was kind of
2023 was when there was a separation from my previous. So merged the companies. We were growing, building, scaling. I was the CEO of the organization. And
so what happened? 23. What happened?
I
don't need detail. I don't want names. I don't want any of that stuff. Partnerships are hard.
Partnerships are hard.
I mean, you're talking to a guy who just left a partnership, right?
Yeah.
Not even a year, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But business partnerships, some come and go.
Yeah.
And,
the
what
power.
Was the reason?
Yeah, it was. So there was just for me personally, I have some pretty strong core values that I live by: vision, integrity, drive, and authenticity. And at the time, there were some differences of opinions, and great people. I mean, listen, we all make decisions based on our own paradigm of belief and our paradigm of understanding, and maybe even experience. Right? We're raised different ways, and we see different things through different purviews. And I saw it differently. There were some things in my life personally that I felt were out of alignment. I was working really hard as the CEO of the company, trying to paint the picture, build the vision, restructure. I took 2 years to build all the standard operating procedures, restructure everything. And we were finally dialed in and moving. And then there was a little rift. There was just some misunderstanding and lack of clarity and lack of, in my mind, the decisions that were being made with our partnership level were out of alignment with what I believed were my core values. And so I just remember sitting in a meeting saying, listen, either these things need to be followed and these decisions need to be made differently, or this doesn't align with me anymore. And so, I took an exit from my company. It wasn't necessarily my decision to a certain extent, but, decisions were made and I ended up leaving the company. And that's when I went through this emotional, I honestly, it was my identity, right? I'd spent 12 years building a digital marketing company. Everybody knew me as the digital marketing guy. I knew myself as the digital marketing guy. I probably gave way too much credibility to the fact that that was my jam.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'd started RizeCon, but RizeCon was good. It was good again. But at that point we were 3 years into COVID, and so everything we knew and all the relationships that I established, people knew me as the digital marketing guy. So when you leave a partnership, obviously there's certain clauses that you have to abide by, like no compete clauses and things of that nature. So I couldn't jump in and start a digital marketing company again. And the one thing that I wanted more than anything is I wanted to take the RizeX group with me because those are my people, right? Those are my friends. I mean, and I realized in 2020-ish when COVID hit us all, relationships mattered to me more than anything else. Didn't matter how much money I chased. Didn't matter how much, as a matter of fact, didn't matter how much money we made. That those relationships, really that concept of you can have everything you want in this life. And what I want and what I continue to want from RizeCon and everything else is I just want people to, you said it earlier, make those authentic connections, build relationships, because it's people that get you there further than anything else. It's the people that are around us. And so my objective for the last 10 years has been, if I can surround myself with the right people, it doesn't matter what happens next. It doesn't matter how much money I make, right? It matters more about, and that's where I think we share that common value of the more people I can surround myself with that live my core values, the higher level of satisfaction I'll have in my life.
And what's interesting about what you're saying is, I had an attorney tell me once, and I was going through some mediation with some partners, and, he could tell I was a little bit upset, and he's like, Kris, and he's an older gentleman, and I think this comes with a little bit of age and a little bit of experience, but he just said, Kris, reasonable minds can differ. And it hit me. It really struck me at that time, because this is a guy that I really respected, and he just said, Kris, reasonable minds can differ. And it made me really sit back and say, the truth and the reality is all I really see is my perspective. These are my two eyes. I'm seeing this world through this brain of mine, and they're seeing it through theirs. And so, reasonable minds can differ. And so relationships do matter. And as I went through that, and maybe as you went through this, and I think what you're saying is, it's important to remember that everything around us right now, this entire world is a temporal world. I remember when I was 24, I bought this GMC pickup, and I was so stoked. I was working full time, going to school, and that GMC pickup now was a 2004, and it would be a pile of crap right? It's so it's done.
Yeah.
And so really the only things that we get to take with us is, and this is my belief, is relationships.
Yep.
I think those will go with us, and knowledge.
Yep.
I think what we gain here through experience is one of the things we get to take. So I really appreciate what you're saying.
One of the best gifts that experience gave me is the gift of forgiveness. In a couple ways, the gift of giving forgiveness, because even the people on the other end, they may not have thought that my perspective of how I was treated or maybe wronged in that scenario, they may not have thought that.
Mm-hmm.
It was their paradigm. That was their perspective.
Totally.
Like, I'm justified in doing what I'm doing. And for the longest time, I held that in. Like, it's such an emotional draw. And that's where I went through that emotional. I mean, I went through this whole game of, lack of confidence and emotional, like the psychology of all of that. And it was a roller coaster for a couple of years. Like, am I good enough to even step back out and do something? Am I courageous enough? And I think that's the thing that always kept me grounded were those RizeX mastermind meetings. I'd go into the room several times and have emotional experiences of like, I'm in a bad place right now.
Mm-hmm.
Not about my business, but just like me personally.
Yep.
So it gave me an opportunity to share some of those with the people in my circle of influence, and it was helpful to get through that, right? Because I always love Brene Brown's statement of vulnerability is a component of strength, not a weakness. Because I think we all think that if I'm emotional, if I'm dynamic, if I don't share things personally, especially as a man in the world, right, that it's weak, that I'm a weak person. But I think that authenticity, the vulnerability is such a strength in so many different ways. That's one of the things about me is I leave everything on the table. I live with my heart on my sleeve. Mm-hmm. I am emotional in the fact that I care so deeply about people that I just want people to succeed, which is why we built RizeCon in the first place. Is I wanted to connect people and give them opportunities to open a door, make a connection, build a relationship that could transform them without reciprocity. Mm-hmm. Like, I love my favorite story of RizeCon, and we've had multiple of these, but Stu Draper once reached out to me and said, Ryan, I just want to tell you what happened to me. Like, I sat, my very first RizeCon event, I sat with the CEO of ICCU. Stu Kent at the time was a great, thriving company, but it opened a door for them to do a business transaction where Stu now had the opportunity to place his Stu Kent simulated, especially on the financial side, a financial education to all the high schools across the state. And that happened at the table of RizeCon.
Wow.
And that lit me up, right? And I didn't say, well, Stu, give me a kickback. I mean, nothing. Like, I love that. And Stu still talks about it. And we built such a strong relationship as a result of me having the opportunity to open a door for him that ultimately added to what didn't transform. I mean, it was already a growing company, but it added a different level of benefit to his company that then became even more attractive from an investment perspective for a venture capital company, right? So
I didn't know that story. That's a cool story.
He'll share it. I love the way he shares it. And I always feel it's kind of one of those things like I celebrate inside, but I try to stay humble still. And I'm like, yeah, I made that connection, right?
It's because of me.
No, and it's not. I mean, he obviously had to do the work to make it work, but
well, you facilitated the room.
I opened the door.
I love how you talk about getting people. Yeah,
and that's what RizeCon is all about. Have you ever watched that movie Hamilton?
No, I haven't seen
the play, the melodrama, whatever.
Talking to the wrong guy, Ryan.
All right, so I'll share with you. So there's a scene in the movie where Alexander Hamilton is talking about bringing the right people in the room to figure out what's going to be the next stage of the U.S., right? And there's a guy in there. It's kind of his arch nemesis in the movie, and he says there's like a song that talks about. He's like, I want to be in the room where it happens. Right, I want to be in the room where it happens. And Alexander Hamilton's like, no, I don't like this guy. He's not going to get to be in the room. Yeah. So, as I've thought about RizeCon this year, and I've thought about how do we position the story, and ultimately, what are we trying to accomplish? What's the vision of what we're trying to accomplish? It really is that I strongly believe, and I will always believe this, that we have such a unique, beautiful community here in Eastern Idaho. There's so many talented, gifted people. There's so many amazing businesses that we just don't know each other well enough from a business community. So number one, and number two, if we really are supposed to become in this region, what I believe is a little piece of heaven, Paul Baker talks about this. If we're to become that, we have to figure a way to open the doors to get past the silos of Rexburg not doing business in Idaho Falls. Idaho Falls not doing business in Pocatello because you just live there, right? The business that's in Idaho Falls in the past and continues to struggle to do business in Pocatello or in Rexburg. We've got to break down this paradigm. And so when I say in the room where it happens, I want to bring the people from the community that have influence on those areas so we can create a room where conversations happen so that everyone can thrive collectively.
Interesting.
It's about rising above our paradigms. It's a rising above the chaos. It's about rising above the relationships. It's about rising above and building what's next. Because what's next in Eastern Idaho is beautiful.
It's huge.
It's amazing. We see the development. We see the people. We see the companies looking here. We talk about the INL and the impact that their micronuclear reactors that they're thinking about doing are going to bring to this region.
They're not thinking.
I know.
They're
building,
doing, bro.
right?
They are doing.
There's so many of these little pods of people that just don't know each other. We've got so many brilliant business minds that if the INL really opened the doors and said, hey, we've got this product offering in their R&D and said, who are my business leaders in the community that can help us thrive? Because we know, right, tacticians of companies usually are not the best business people.
Yeah,
they're really good at what they do, but they need a good business leader to support and give them the vision and drive it forward. And we, at this point, my opinion, and I could be totally wrong, my opinion is we don't have that cross-pollination of really, really good products offerings in the marketplace with the best business leaders in our community. We are incredibly talented with a business leadership perspective. We have people that are working in companies that are these closet entrepreneurs that if they had the opportunity to go connect with someone that had a product, they could scale it to a multi-million-dollar company in a short time.
What's really interesting, I do. And what's really interesting to me is, first, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Where do you think that comes from? Like, because I've felt that. What's really, for me, I ran Verizon doors all over Colorado, Utah, and it was the dynamic that exists in eastern Idaho between Pocatello to Blackfoot to Idaho Falls, then on up to Rigby and Rexburg.
Yep.
It's weird. Like, there is this weird dynamic, and we thrived. We had unbelievable levels of customer service.
Yeah.
Shout out to all those My Bullfrog dudes. There's still a bunch of them running around.
So
They're
cool.
leaders.
So cool.
But there was a different dynamic. Where does that come from?
So it's a really, really good question. I think there's old paradigms, right? Because Pocatello in general was a heavy manufacturing company or
Railroad.
Yeah, railroad.
Blue collar.
It was blue collar, really deep blue collar. So the leadership in the organizations, the unionization of Pocatello, was a powerful play, right? It was a really good, thriving area. And still is, right? But it's changed.
Mm-hmm.
I think we here had a different paradigm of agriculture, heavy ag. I think you look at Rexburg, similar agriculture, and then you have the college, right? And so we all kind of we kind of flirted with the crossover, but it was really they were operating mutually exclusive to begin with because the industries were so different. And so there was really no reason to cross-pollinate. And I've talked to the Bannock County Economic Development back in the days with RizeCon when we were starting this up, and they said the same thing. We want to, and I want to share with you another really cool story. So back when I was starting my digital marketing company in 2013, one of the things that I realized is that I needed to learn, and so for me to learn, I had to spend time with people that really knew what they were doing. Mm-hmm. And Orange Soda was a big company down in Utah, but maybe you remember this company. Yeah. And Orange Soda had just sold. And so I'm like, I'm going to go down and be a part of all the networking and just see what's happening. Well, Orange Soda, when they sold, they had several of their executives that went and started other companies like Podium and they started crazy cool companies. And what happened is that camaraderie, that relationship, similar to you with Bullfrog, they had such a cool, unique relationship. They realized that in order for them to thrive, they had to build a community. So that's when the concept of Silicon Slope started, was in 12, 13, 14, 15. And it happened because they put the right people in the room. And then people just started talking. And now we can see 10 years later, 15 years later, what's happened in that Lehigh area is basically the best companies from Silicon Valley came there and have built an empire, which opened the doors, Kris, to build that whole relationship from Ogden to South Provo and even moving further down in Nephi. Like, those companies just started to work together and find ways to bring a community of people to raise the ships, right? High tides raise all ships, right? So anyway.
And the other thing that happened during that time period was the Olympics.
That's right.
And I grew up in Clearfield, right by Hill Air Force Base, and went to Clearfield High. Dude, pre-Olympic Utah is definitely different than post-Olympic Utah. Yep. And so I think what did happen, because I remember as a kid, let's just call them silos. Pocatello's a silo. Blackfoot's a silo.
100%.
Those silos existed.
100%.
You know, down in Utah.
Yep.
And they were just little areas, and it was a forced abundance.
Yep.
Right? You were forced down this path of this growth happened, and I feel like our community's been feeling that.
That's exactly what we're feeling right now.
Right? I'm in the real estate realm, and I see it constantly with these planning and zoning, these city councils, where it's just like this, almost a little resistance to the growth.
Yeah.
But then you'll get some younger, fresh blood in there that maybe isn't from the area.
That's right.
You know, there's a city councilman in Shelley now that just moved from Boise, right? And they've seen growth, and so they're like, this is coming. This is happening. So how do we do it in a way that's responsible and that creates this abundance mindset that there's enough for all of us, you know?
And that's, I mean, that's the I would love RizeCon to be that catalyst of starting those conversations.
Well, let's talk about it, because I think it can be.
I hope it is.
Where is it?
So we're hosting at the Shoshone-Bannok Casino and Hotel.
Okay.
This is the third year we've done it down there, and I'll tell you, their level of service is tremendous. They're so good. I love hosting it down there. And I did it on purpose, right? We could use it at the Mountain America Center here, but I wanted to strategically place it in a place where we could actually gain some more access to people from Pocatello. Because if we're going to do this, we have to bring people from the whole region. But the bigger cities are Idaho Falls, Pocatello, Blackfoot's right in there, right?
Yep.
And so I wanted to find a way that we could really kind of hybrid and massage and bring people in and just open the door. It's a 2-day conference. We have 30 speakers, presenters over 2 days, Kris.
Let's talk about the format.
Okay.
So 2 days. What's the format? Day one, you come.
Day one, we open up with a powerful speaker. His name's James Clark.
Okay.
James is the owner of Clark Capital. You might remember a company by the name of ClearLink. So he founded that, grew it. I think he has they had like 46,000 employees.
Wow.
He's from Rexburg originally.
Okay.
And I reached out to him. I said, hey, James, I know you're a big wig and you're like the ambassador to the UK for Utah and all these things. But I said, this is what I'm trying to do. I mean, this is a guy that probably gets paid, if he does speak on stages, like a lot of money to be, you know. And I said, hey, I know you're from Rexburg. Some of my friends who know you say you're a great human being, great individual. Would you be willing to just come and speak to our community and share with us what's happened in Utah so that we can gain a bigger picture of how we could do that? So we open with a keynote. We have a breakout session, and then we're going right into another keynote, and then another breakout session. Then we're actually doing a little roundtable, getting to know you networking opportunity, our RizeX mastermind, in a small fashion at lunch, because of what happened with Stu. I want to get other people having that same experience. Yeah, you know, we go to conferences all the time, and if we're an extrovert, we get to know a few people. If we're an introvert, we go and we don't get to know anyone.
We get notes.
We get education, which is valuable.
Yeah, it is.
But we know that relationships drive success in organizations, right? So we want to force people in a very comfortable way to get to know each other personally, professionally, and then problem solve together.
Love that.
Right, so exactly the same structure we do with Rise, our mastermind event, right?
Okay.
But on a shortened version of it. We're giving people like 8 or 9 minutes versus the 15 to 20 minutes that we usually do. So that's on Wednesday, and then we have a vendor hour. I think it's incredibly important, Kris, when people dedicate resources to an event like ours, that we make sure that the people that attend have an opportunity to get to know our vendors.
Agreed.
Right? It's too often I go to conferences and that's like an afterthought. They give us money to be a sponsor, but then we don't think about them.
Yep.
So we are crafting out 15 minutes between each session to make sure people get a chance to go talk to the vendors.
And the booth set up, the representatives there. And
Yep.
Awesome.
And then day one, at the end of day one, my favorite human being in terms of listening to podcasts and speakers is a guy by the name of McKay Christensen, who is currently the CEO of Thanksgiving Point down in Utah.
McKay, Melaleuca guy too.
Melaleuca guy, yeah. And he came and spoke in 2018 at RizeCon, and people loved him. So we're bringing him back. He's gracious enough again. A guy that probably doesn't go speak anywhere because he doesn't have to. He's got his podcast. Have you heard of his? Heard of his? Yeah. The Open Your Eyes podcast. Tremendous tremendous human being.
Awesome.
You know, if there's anybody I would like to become like, it's McKay, because he's just so real and authentic. Yeah. You know, and he shares messages that are transformational. So he's closing out our day one. We're having a really cool little after hours get together just to kind of deepen the relationships. And then day 2, it's more tactical. I think we've got 6 sessions of breakouts. Now breakouts, we have 3 rooms that are going simultaneously. We have a track specifically on artificial intelligence and how to leverage it in your business.
Wow.
I'm super excited about that.
Who's teaching that? Who's doing that?
Well, we
Multiple?
have 8 different people speaking on that.
Wow.
Day 2, we're actually opening with an AI panel. So I've got a gentleman who scaled the company from 0 to 40 million over 3 years using AI.
Wow.
He's coming to be a part of the panel.
Awesome.
And another guy that worked with Stance early in his days. He's running a company called Anagram right now. He's going to be there. So we're having this, and it's like a 55-minute panel discussion. So we're like diving in, like ask the questions. Going to vet the room on who knows what about AI, because I believe that we're all at differing levels.
Oh yeah.
And until we can get on the same
AI's at different levels, man. I mean,
man.
ChatGPT and Claude, and I mean, they're all battling right now.
They're all battling.
Yeah.
But the impact that I'm seeing it make, I thought it was just critical.
It's huge.
Because business owners, especially in this area, they have a propensity. Several of them can do, having embraced AI in a lot of ways, but several of them are afraid to.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to give them the confidence to say, here's some ways that you can use it. Now go test it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't use it just as an email generator or a thought ideator.
As Google. Don't use it as a Google search, right? I mean, that's, last night, Ryan, this is really interesting. I got a 16-year-old daughter. I have 3 daughters, beautiful daughters. I'm a girl dad, and I love that through and through. And my 16-year-old is getting recruited right now for volleyball. She's sending out all the messages.
So cool.
I took Claude Cowork, attached the Chrome extension, gave it access to her field level, her university athlete, and her email, and then I gave it skills to be her agent.
Look
and
at this.
Said, go and create a master Excel sheet with camp dates, emails we've sent, correspondence. Within 10 minutes, it built the entire thing. It has every D1, D2, D3. It has every email correspondence. It is like that to me. It blew me away. I went and told my wife, I'm like, babe, I think I'm magic. Right?
Well, that's what it does.
Yeah,
if you understand the power of artificial intelligence, it can transform business. But here's the cool spin we're putting on it. We're talking about humanizing it. Meaning, yes, you can do all of these things with artificial intelligence, but how do you still keep the human element in life versus just replacing everyone with AI?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I love I've never even thought about that as a use case, but there's so many use cases.
Dude, there's
that
so
people
many.
just don't know. As a matter of fact, James Ullman, my friend, you know James.
Oh, yeah.
He has a 13, kind of full circle, interesting moment. The first guy that I hired with Strategic Social Partners was a guy by the name of Mitch Adams. He's brilliant. He's now gone in, he left and went and started his own company. He's been building things, but he's been showing up to James Ullman's little community events in Rigby.
Yep.
He and his 13-year-old daughter. Well, his 13-year-old daughter has been building an application using
Cowork
vibe coding.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yep.
And so she's going to come and present at our RizeCon event,
so
just
cool,
a little
dude.
bit of what she did, right? But we want to show practical application, because if a 13-year-old kid can do it, anyone can do it. And I'm not saying she's not intelligent, but the power in technology today is so valuable. Now, again, the nuance of that is we want to focus on the human side of it, which is another track, which is leadership, personal and professional leadership and development.
Yeah.
Right? We just believe that once people are in a good place emotionally, once they have that confidence to run their own companies, they can start testing other things, and it'll be transformational there too. And then the last part of that is, once you have, now that AI is coming to fruition, people are going to be starting businesses. If they understand the psychology of running a business, now what is the journey from start to finish? How do I start a business? What should I do here from a startup to exit perspective? What does an exit look like? How should I position my company for sale? What things should I be doing? So everything we're doing is focused on those 3 tracks.
Love that.
Artificial intelligence, leadership and development, and the startup to exit game.
Love that.
And we have, again, the blessing in my life is I've been able to surround myself with people that are so incredibly brilliant that I can just ask them to come and present their thoughts and their concepts, and they'll do it.
They're in.
Maybe I shouldn't say this out loud, but I'm going to say it out loud because I'm so grateful, because they haven't asked for anything. I haven't paid for a speaking gig in the 3 years that we've done this.
That's amazing.
Because there's so much passion and love for this community, people want to give back. And that's why I try to find people strategically that have been here, that know this community, because I don't want to bring in a high-level speaker that speaks over the top of everyone else and
It's not got connection.
That
doesn't know.
and that's the authentic side, right? I want it to be an authentic conference where you walk away not only feeling like I learned something new, but more importantly, that I want to make a change in my life because of that.
I love that.
So rise above, build what's next. That's our theme. Rise above where you are today. I want people leaving saying, I know where I am today, but now I have the confidence, the motivation, the excitement, the desire to take the next step, whatever that small step might be, because it's the 1%, right? We talk about James Clear in his book. The 1% makes a big difference. And I just believe that the better we can become as humans here in this region, there is going to be things that come. There's going to be opportunities, ultimately opportunities to grow stronger businesses, because I'm here. I love this place. I want to create an environment where my kids, when they get done with school, they want to come back because they love this. They want to stay. And we don't have that right now. We have it in a lot of ways. I'm super excited about the direction of the city, for instance, in Idaho Falls. But we have to break this down and look at it regionally. We have to get everyone moving in the same way. And we've tried to do it with the government. The government's a fantastic entity. It has to be a part of it, but it can't be the driver of it.
No.
Because there's just so much conflict between boundaries, and you do this and I do this and you do this. And then you have the chambers of commerce, which are such a powerful leader in the community. They have their geographic boundaries as well. So we have to find a way to open it up. We have the county development organizations. You have READY, all fantastic organizations. But I just felt like I just want to put all these people in a room, and then let's start the conversation. Let's bring it together. Let's bring everyone that has a vested interest in growing. And going back to that concept of Hamilton, we want to create that room to be where the catalyst of change in Eastern Idaho, the catalyst of economic development and growth happens in the room. Even it's not going to be me doing it. My intention is not Ryan is going to drive this home. My intention is let's open the doors and let those people that already have the organizations that are doing it, let's give them the resources, the connections, the relationships that they need so that they can do it and we can all elevate together.
Love that. So how do people get involved? Like if they want to go, how do they get tickets?
RizeCon.io.
Like? Okay.
Yep, RizeCon.io. You can get your tickets there.
Okay.
It's good. We plan on doing this forever.
Okay.
I mean, this again, we would have done it forever had COVID not hit us.
Yeah.
And now we would probably be in our 10th year, 8th year, 7th year, and have thousands and thousands of attendees. Every business community needs something like this.
I agree.
Every business community needs an opportunity to open doors for each other and build relationships that they couldn't have. They can. Everyone can do this. And I want to just be clear about that. My intent for RizeCon, this for me is not a revenue generator. I want it to be, as a matter of fact, we've even thought about turning it into a 501c3 next year. Because I want it to be an environment where businesses thrive and find ways to grow and open doors that, keep in mind, like we're all busy business owners.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have the time to go meet 30 or 40 different business leaders from the region. But if we can open that door and make those introductions and build those relationships where now proximity is the value and the education, the training, the emotional feel of it is the catalyst, now we have something special.
Well, and I love the quality. I mean, the quality of the speakers, the quality of the event, and I think there's nothing like it.
There's nothing.
There's little think tanks all over in Eastern Idaho, which are awesome, but nothing at this level. And so kudos to you. Kudos to your team. I want to give you an opportunity to talk about RizeX real quick, too, before we chime off here. So everybody that's watching, go get your tickets. Go to RizeCon. Give me the dates again.
April 22nd, 23rd.
22nd, 23rd.
2 full days.
So
2 full days.
Be there or you're a loser is basically what we're saying. Just
be
kidding.
there. You're gonna miss out on the room where
or you'll regret it.
Yeah. I say this all the time. Don't be a could have, would have, or should have.
Yeah.
I could have easily got a ticket. I could have taken the time to come down. I would have if I would have known, or I should have. Don't be that person. Come and be a part of it. I mean, we want 300 to 350 people in that room, because and the right people.
Yeah, I think you're going to have that.
There's
a ton of chatter.
It's fascinating to me how long people wait to make those decisions to buy a ticket.
Oh, yeah.
I was do it. We're there. We're the last 10-day blitz. Come and hang out with us. Reach out to me. We're happy to. Again, it's more important to me that we have those people in the room. And to that point, Kris, part of the story that we're interweaving in this year, we have 4 characters. We have the dabbler. is we've all been in that road at some point where I just want to go learn. I kind of want to start a business. I don't really know if I want to, or I've started something on the side. I don't have the confidence to really make that next decision. We have the, that dabbler is one of us. We have the casual, right? The casual is like, yeah, I'm building the business. I got $100,000. It's enough to make me money, and I'm just casual with it. I know it could be more, but I don't really care. I've got a lifestyle, and I'm fine with it. But they know that there could be more, and they want more, right? And then you've got the operator. These are the businesses that the operators are really good at what they do, but they continue to hit that ceiling over and over and over, right? And then you've got the owner. That's the fourth character, is the owner. Like, they've been there and they know that their company is good. They just need those next relationships to take it to the next level. We've all been there. We've been in one of those four categories. So we're going to interweave that all together, and we're actually building some unique opportunities. RizeX is that next place, in my opinion. Like, you come, you feel, you're transformed, you made a decision, now come be a part of RizeX, because then we can take the conversation, that accountability, and drive it forward.
Love that. And
RizeX is a great place to do that. It's our monthly meetings. We meet once a month. People ask us all the time if we can do it more often, because we just need that, right? But I feel like the unique nature of that is there's enough time in between to really do the work and come back the next month and then get that pick up and do it again.
It's important.
It is important. And one other thing we're adding this year, which hopefully I'm okay shouting out, but because I haven't really told anybody yet about this, but we're going to host a retreat this year.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. We're taking 15 to 20 businesses is all. We don't want it to be huge. We just want 15 to 20 people that are probably in that operator and or owner role.
Okay.
Right? They're in that place where they're like, I need to dive deep. I need to get away and work on my business.
Yep.
Instead of just always being in my business. I want to take the noise away, meet the right people in the room. Again, another room where it happens. So that's going to be the theme this year, right? We want to be in the room where it happens. RizeCon, RizeX, and then our retreat. And I just want people to know that, like, if they're coming to that event, that they're going to walk away with a 12-month plan. They're going to walk away with 90-day objectives.
Love that.
And they're going to walk away with understanding the vision of their company and their core values. Some people haven't even gone down.
You telling me right now you're going to be an EOS?
No, no. But I've learned so much in running 8 years of EOS that there's so much power. I mean, we have awesome implementers here with Trisha Drake and with Dale Boone and Eric Madsen.
Yep.
Eric guided us through the last couple of years of our chaos.
Yeah.
But there's so much value in the structure. I just think there's opportunities to the principles are not unique to true. EOS. They're true. Right. Yeah. And I've been to Stu Draper's retreats. They're fantastic. They're awesome, powerful relationship building components.
Yeah, shout out to Stu. He's doing some really cool stuff.
Yeah. And so we're just adding an additional layer to that. We have the relationships, but we're also adding a layer of tactical, so we can really walk away and say, what can we do in the next 12 months? And then hopefully bring some of those same people back and say, what have you done in the last 12 months? Or get to connect with them each month, right? We're trying to build an element of, call it roundtable commitment, roundtable mastermind. And I don't say mastermind, but almost like finding the people in your circle of influence that can become boards of advisors that can help you take your business and move forward. Because we can't do this alone, Kris.
Well, and the other thing, Ryan, is you're creating a cadence, which I love. Every business, I don't care what you're running, every one of those levels you just talked about is just a different ceiling.
That's right.
It's just a different challenge, and the fundamentals to break through that are true and the same.
Yep.
In every instance, they're not different. You know it. And so getting the people that have been there, that have broke through that ceiling to 100%. Help you and create vision, help you see the other side of it, is so important. Yeah. So where's the retreat? We like Cabo? I mean,
no. I would love, maybe someday. Yeah. I'm not that, I'm that ambitious.
St. George?
But I also, we're actually going to do it. We're hosting it at Stu's Cabin.
Oh, Island Park.
Yeah, up in
right
Island Park.
on.
It's a beautiful cabin, and Stu's been generous enough to allow us in an off time to leverage it. It's a 3 days, 3 night.
Very
retreat.
Cool.
Yeah, our pricing is very, very feasible.
I heard.
As a matter of fact, people are like, you should charge way more. And I'm like, again, this goes back to me. I want people to be able, those people that really want to make those decisions, I don't want cost to be the barrier.
You want them to reach it.
I want to be able to give them the opportunity. And that's why our RizeX masterminds are very cost effective. That's why RizeCon, it's a $300 ticket, $350, right? I don't want to make it so egregious that people like $1,000 to show up to that event. I'm not going to pay that.
Yeah, but the other side of that is you've got to make its value.
it's 100% value.
You appreciate way more something that you're invested in.
100%.
So there's a balance.
And the value for $350 is there. We should be putting on, this is a Meluka conference style, right? It's going to be that caliber and that quality. Now, again, for those people that have do all the events at Meluka, I mean, you're way above and beyond, but you also have the budget, by the way. So to be fair.
Yeah.
But I mean, Kris, we're putting over 6 figures into this event for the production of it. And it's going to be, again, it all goes back to my initial vision and my mission in life is you can have everything you want in this life by helping enough people get what they want.
Love that.
And if I can open that door to get people what they want and get the relationships, find the next step in their fate, in their business, in their life, that's the most meaningful thing that could ever happen to me. I had a unique opportunity to chase dollars in the solar world for a few years. And I just realized I don't, my life is way more blessed by the people that I'm around with more than the amount of money that I make in life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing how important sufficient for my needs is.
Yeah, 100%.
So, well, I'm excited for the event.
Thank you.
Can't wait to be there. I'm challenging everybody in East Idaho. If you're a business owner, get to this event. There are going to be amazing things happening. I've sat with Ryan, talked about AI. I mean, I can't imagine what we're going to be experiencing. So thanks
cool.
for coming on the podcast today.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts? Anything to leave on?
No, big shout out to you, Kris, and what you're doing.
Thank you.
It takes a lot of time and energy to bring stories of people to light.
Well, thank you.
And, you're dedicating a lot of time, resources, and it's so cool because there are so many unique stories in this region. And if you have one of those stories, I mean, reach out to you, right?
Absolutely.
Because we want those stories to be told here.
We do.
We want people to know about what's happening, and that's one of the reasons we're bringing RizeX and RizeCon to the table is we just want more proximity. We're on that kind of this co-mission together, and I love what you're doing, and grateful for you and people like you that have such a desire to help others. I mean, there's nothing more special than watching people come together and transform their lives and, build relationships that are meaningful and impactful in the long term. So thanks for what you're doing.
Agreed,
I
brother.
appreciate it, my man.
Agreed.